The following podcast may contain naughty language, but I recently read an article that says that swearing is actually healthy for you, so we're just trying to maintain our health.
Thank you for joining us. This is Paul Wilson.
And I'm Danny Voss.
And we're here with the Diesel Performance Podcast. To get started today, we always want to say thank you for all of the great feedback we've had on Facebook and on YouTube. Really starting to get a lot of momentum there.
Yeah, leave a comment for us, and please rate our episode.
Absolutely, and that can be done at iTunes. So check us out on iTunes.com to give us a rating and a comment. We really appreciate that stuff. But now that we're beyond all of that, we get to dive into today's Truck Advisor episode. Danny, I'm stoked.
I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Absolutely. We're joined on the phone today by Sean Kiser. Sean, how are you today?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing great.
Doing good.
Doing awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Now, Sean,
no
you were referred over to us by Dwight Kroon and Daniel McEwen, two of our previous Truck Advisor guests, and they told us that we really had to talk to you about your Cummins.
They called you out, man.
They're pretty good friends of mine. We've been doing this for a while now.
Well, that's awesome. Well, why don't we get started at the beginning here? Tell us about what got you into diesel performance.
Well, I had an '01 long bed quad cab truck back in high school that was handed down from my father. And, I didn't go too far with it. It was left stock, basically. Started working, got out of high school, and used to ride motocross growing up, so I needed something to haul the bike in, back and forth to racing and stuff like that. Decided to buy something nice with a decent interior, so I decided to buy a '06 quad cab with leather Laramie.
That was a bold statement, saying decent interior in a Cummins.
I didn't want to say nothing.
But much nicer than an '01. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, that's a step up from a second
Very,
gen.
very much nicer.
Okay, so did you get it stock?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I bought it brand new. Actually, it was sitting on the lot maybe 20 days before I bought it.
I love it. Okay.
Brand new.
Where'd you get started? What was the first thing you did to it?
Just standard intake exhaust, like everybody else.
Sure.
Took the silencer ring out.
Yeah, I actually did.
Pardon the interruption. I'm Nick with Calibrated Power Solutions. If this kind of incredibly technical content is something that you really enjoy listening to, then I think you ought to check out some more of our podcast episodes. And I think you should also check out calibratedpower.com and Duramaxtuner.com, where you can continue to scratch that itch. Look forward to hearing from you. 815-568-7920. Thanks for listening.
I know that you've pulled some pretty badass times and you're racing it quite a bit these days, but walk us through what was the progression here on the build. So you did the intake and the exhaust. I'd imagine that was a little bit more fun. It sounds cooler. You did the silencer ring, right? So what got you going? What was the next from there?
It was little things, It all started with the 366, which was kind of a waste. But then again, it was on stock injector, so you really couldn't do too much with it. I didn't want a small backside on it, and so I got the 91.
Oh, wow.
To flow a little bit more air. So that was it. And kept it stock injectors, and it was sitting right around 500 when Scott Hendricks was tuning it for me, back when you guys started tuning it. And,
that was back in Cummins tuner days, right, when Scott was doing the tuning, yeah.
Yeah, I actually have, I think, number 100 spade, so you guys have been tuning this truck for a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, and that was back when it had a 366 and injectors. How'd it run?
Yeah, that was stock injectors. It was
Right.
on stock injectors.
Stock injectors, 66 mil turbo.
Yeah, you guys had it tuned pretty good. It ran pretty good. I mean, there's a little bit of lag. You're always going to have lag with a single, but...
All right.
Yeah, next one, I think CP3 I got was a little 10-millimeter pump from T&C Diesel out there, Todd. Got one from him and left it alone for a little while until got where I am now.
Oh, really? So you went from stock injectors, 10 mil pump, 66 mil turbo, all the way up to where you're at now?
Yep.
Yeah, he skipped fucking around, didn't he?
And it recently just changed a little bit, but...
Okay, well, walk us through. What was the big step? What was the big jump that you went from the 366 and up? What'd you do?
The next thing was 100 over injectors and a 12 mil single CP3.
What are you doing this thing?
It's just a play toy. Weekend.
Do you do any sled pulling?
No, it's only a street truck, man.
Yeah, we're up here in the Midwest, so everybody wants to build something that they can drive every day, sled pull with it on the weekends, and then drag strip every other week. Right, Danny?
Oh, yeah. It seems like the common
Yeah, I
story
hear that.
over here.
Big sled pulling out that way.
It's the Midwest, you know. It's
Oh, yeah.
kind of where the diesel performance really started at for us, so...
You have to find your own fun out where we live.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Okay, but you're out there in the Northeast as well, like a lot of our guests have been lately. You're down
Virginia,
at the...
yep.
Yep, Virginia, that's right. I'm sorry, so probably not too much north
The
there.
lover state.
The Lover State. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the next turbo mod? Where'd you go for air?
After the 366, I went up to a 75, 87, 90.
Damn.
Yeah, you skip messing around.
Yeah.
Having a little fun.
To help, to help with the 100 overs, just to flow a little bit to kind of keep up with what it needed. But it's still got it now. That same turbo is still on here today.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been on there?
About 2 years now.
No
Year and a half,
kidding.
2 years.
It's a runner, huh?
Oh, yeah, I got it from Reed Patriots down at Work Turbochargers in Alabama. Built it for me.
Yeah.
Did a pretty good job. It's still tight.
How's the lag on that?
No lag anymore.
Okay.
Recently I put 150 overs on it.
Now, did you notice a big difference in drivability with adding the injectors and leaving the pump the same?
No, not really.
No.
It's about the same as it always has. You guys do a pretty darn good job doing that.
A lot of guys try to tune for performance and drivability, but I believe that Scott, did a really good job with that. So he always does.
Yeah, Scott
Yeah,
has
I
it.
could drive this every day and, just take it easy, and you'd never know anything was done to it other than the looks of it.
That's that drivability thing that
Yeah.
we're talking about. You want that, ability to keep it streetable, yet have a lot of fun when you need it the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's jump off script for a while.
Yeah.
What have you done outside of the truck? What about exterior mods, non-performance related stuff have you done to it?
Silencer ring.
Big C sticker.
Lowered a little bit. Roll pan, no rear bumper, and not too much.
Okay.
Looks pretty stock. Doesn't have badges or anything on it.
Gotcha. Okay, no big C sticker in the back window and 5-inch stack.
No, it's no decals at all. It's bare.
I know Dwight's
Black
got
and
one
silver.
for you.
Black and silver.
Love it. Okay, what's your best time in it?
1098 at almost
Whoa.
127.
Wow.
Holy shit.
We're both looking at each other with our eyebrows raised.
126.78.
Holy
It's
shit,
top
that's
mile an hour.
cooking. You said a long bed, right? Quad cab
Yeah.
long bed?
No, that was the second gen,
it's
right?
the boat, man.
Oh,
No, this one's a quad cab long bed.
both of them are quad cab long beds.
Yeah, no shit, running 10s in the quad cab long bed. That's a nasty setup.
That was on the 100 over injector setup, and since then I've changed them to 150 overs. So I still got the 12 mil pump with 150 overs in it now. Run that same 75.
And you haven't ran it since?
I have not ran it since. I'm probably going to go maybe about a week or two, whenever the first Friday night track night is over there at MIR. That thing Mike Graves puts on down there, Holly Rupp.
Yeah.
What kind of 60-foot time were you running before you did the pump?
163, I think it was.
And what kind of transmission you got in this thing?
It's an old gearing unit that I bought maybe 4 years ago. And since then, I've snapped the intermediate shaft and snapped the output shaft.
Sounds right.
So
Pretty
it's all,
standard.
All billet now, but Scott and Nick down at S&M Transmission down near Richmond rebuilt it for me and put their stage 4 specs on it. So it's pretty hefty.
That's awesome. All billet internals at this point, I take it.
Oh, yeah, everything. Triple disc. It's a gearing triple disc converter, stock stall.
Did we talk dyno numbers? What kind of dyno numbers are you running?
I haven't dynoed this thing since it was on stock, so it put down 503 horsepower back in the day when I had the 366 on it.
Yeah, that was a long ways ago, huh? Have you run the math on it?
Time, and I weighed it 2 weeks ago, and it came out to 6880 with me in it.
6880. How'd you get a quad cab long bed stripped down that light?
Dropped the weight down quite a bit. It doesn't have AC. It doesn't have any washer fluid. No passenger side battery. Aluminum drive shaft, and no shock towers.
I mean, budget build, to be honest with you, like for running 10s in something that's streetable, you got to be damn near in with a shout compared to doing twins or, compared to doing any of the other budget builds that we've talked about in the past. I mean, not many guys are into 10s and still on stock long block.
And with a wheelbase like that, too, that's very impressive.
Yeah,
in my
absolutely.
Yeah, 163 60-foot was on that, the 100 over setup, so who knows what it is now. So I'll put some Hoosiers on there and really get down.
Didn't you say earlier you don't race your truck? This is just a street truck?
Yeah, I mean, I don't bracket race. I'll go hang out with the guys. But
there you go.
Most of the time, if I ever make a pass, it'll be a solo pass, just to see what it'll do.
Gotcha. That's badass, man. I don't know that I could stay away from bracket racing with something that ran 10s, to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't have a goddamn license anymore, to be straightforward about it.
Yeah, I'm just in it to see what it do, see what it'd take.
That's awesome. What are your plans for the future? Where are we going to go from here with it?
Probably not far until I get the motor built. I gotta get some rods in here before I lose it all.
Are you going to wait for it to go, or are you going to do it beforehand?
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this year. I don't know. I'm going to try to take it a little easy, though, on the street and just playing around, but definitely going to make some passes.
How many miles are on your truck currently?
119,000.
And you put them all on there, you said?
Yep. Bought it brand new.
That is awesome.
I drove it every day till about a year and a half ago. It was a daily driver till about a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Well, Sean, I definitely appreciate you coming on the podcast today. We always appreciate anybody who's out there having fun with their trucks and building them up. I got to imagine something like this. I mean, even on 100% over injectors, 475, I mean, you got to be in that 800, 900 horsepower range, right? I'm not crazy for this math here.
The Comp D calculator, that weight and that mile an hour comes out to 951.
951. I'd believe it. I believe every horsepower of it.
And when Paul's driving, you might be running a 12. I always like the hose on Paul here.
Yeah, we didn't all grow up next to the track, Danny. It takes time, all right? It takes so many passes to get good.
Hey, you know how loud that was? The whole town hated that drag strip. The whole town. Even my family hated it, except for me. I loved it.
Well, Sean, I do really appreciate you coming on the show today. Like I said before, we always love talking to anybody that's into diesel performance. For all of you other listeners out there, if you want to get on the podcast, talk about your build, tell other people about some of the pitfalls you've run into and some of the success stories you've had, we'd love to have you. Right now, Danny and I are also getting ready to launch our new Cummins Turbo Shootout segment, so we'll be running that for a few weeks here, breaking down some different Cummins turbos and really kind of taking a look to see about the math, find out the data behind it.
Some serious information is coming your way.
Absolutely. This has been Paul Wilson.
And I'm Danny Voss.
Thanks for listening.
The Diesel Performance Podcast is brought to you by Calibrated Power Solutions, home of Duramaxtuner.com, developer of performance engine and transmission calibrations for a wide variety of late model diesel powertrains, including the Duramax, Cummins, John Deere, Jeep, and many more. For more information and the best customer service in the industry, check out calibratedpower.com or call 815-568-7920.